Hi everyone, Raphael Harry here, and you're listening to White Label American, a podcast where we hear stories from an immigrant or two, sometimes more. Thank you for listening and enjoy the show. Welcome to another episode of White Label American. Thank you all for joining us today. And before we begin, I would like to give a shout out to Anthony Nekade, first Ijoma or Izon man, to make a donation to the podcast. And we love people sending donations. So please keep the donations coming in. We love donations from not only Izon people. Everybody can make it and can make a donation. And just go on www.whitelabelamerican.com and hit the donation button, or you can sign up on Patreon and give monthly and become a monthly subscriber. And for as low as $3, you can access bonus content. And if you can't, we know inflation is high right now worldwide. So cash might be hard for you to come by if you can't, give donations or join our Patreon or buy merch. Yes, you can support by also buying our merch. You can also support also by going on Apple Podcast, which is the biggest platform, or Spotify, or Stitcher, or other podcast platforms. But we prefer those three for the meantime being. And give a 5-star rating and write a positive review. So we'd like to give a shout out to Nancy, who just dropped an awesome review, and we appreciate you. So thank you very much. So with that being said, let's jump to today's guest. So I forgot to ask you how to pronounce your official first name, but you're going to tell us. That's going to be one of the questions, because I've known this man for a long time, since I got access to the internet, since I became an adult and I began to have pocket change and buy my own. We'll call it internet. We'll go to internet cafes and then access the airtime for internet. And this was one of the first friends I had on the internet. And then he's also made me come to the UK. So he's also a digital content creator. He's an entrepreneur. He's a man who's into comedy, travel, soccer, food. He's married with 2 kids. And he can be serious, and he can also be a business. He can also be a funny guy at the same time. So with that being said, unofficially he's Louis to many of us, but officially he's Ose Monye. So welcome to the show, Ose. How you doing? I went with the shorter version of your name, because even though we are from the same area. You're the first guest, so I'm like, I'm never going to try pronouncing the official version of your name. So, first question that I will before I even jump to first question, how are you doing? And welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much, and good to see you again.
Always. So, we still haven't had our official hangout in New York, which will come soon, hopefully. But how do we pronounce your full first name? I know Josh here is laughing now that this is the first guest. Over 100 episodes, and this is the first guest that I'm like, even though we are close friends, I'm still like, I can't pronounce my close friend's first name. Josh is like, wow, this is a world record. Exclusive.
No, the thing is, it's not your fault, because I've started kind of pushing this name or made this name my first name in the last couple of years. So it's not really your fault.
Right? I know, but still, most people from Delta State, which is your state of origin in Nigeria, you guys have strong names there. Even my Ijaw people from there. So, just go ahead and pronounce the name for the audience.
Okay, so the name is Orieka Ose. So I think the easiest way to say it is just to break it into 3. Okay. Orieka Ose.
Orieka Ose. Okay, so that's so if I go the American way, I'll say Orieka Ose. So Orieka Ose.
Yes.
Okay.
Orieka Ose.
It was easy. I was just too Americanized to start with.
What makes it maybe slightly difficult as well is there are no, what are they called? Is it consonants breaking it up?
Yes.
This one, so you have vowels like I and then followed closely by E.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it difficult. Some people might say Orie, they don't know like to cut it off.
Yeah.
If you have a name like, let's say, Olabode,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
after the A, there's a B that tells you there's a break there. Then there's a D that helps you break it up. But in my case, there are vowels. So there's
Yeah.
O before A, there's E before I. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. But if I break it down like this, say Ori, Eka, Use, it makes it easy, yes.
Okay. Thank you for that. So, next question will be what are the meaning of your beautiful names, and is there any story behind you having those names?
Okay, yeah. So growing up, Louis was my first name. Arekose was my middle name. Arekose is obviously my, if you like, local name, my traditional name.
Traditional name, yeah.
Yeah. So Arekose actually has a very good meaning. It means he's in the hands of God.
Okay.
So Eka in my language is hand. Ose in my language is God. So Orieka Ose means he's in the hands of
Of
God.
God. All right.
Yes.
And your last name, Monye, what does that mean?
Monye means is the is the higher one that gives.
Mm.
More means kind of the higher being, like spirit world, like
Yeah.
supernatural. So it's
Yeah.
the kind of the supernatural that gives. That's what it means. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. And then Louis obviously is a French name which I have now which I have now sought to become my middle name. Louis is a French name that means treasure.
Treasure.
Simply, yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice. So you can make it all. He it's the higher one that gives treasure. Can make
Well, yeah, you,
it's,
you could you
you
could
could you
put
make it that way.
you could
So
put it that
I've
way.
started doing that with some people when they give me the interpretations. I'm like, oh yeah, we can just merge it all together and give you a
Yeah,
variation like that. So
yeah.
yeah, so that's beautiful. So can you introduce the audience to your place of birth and what your childhood was like?
Okay, yeah. So I was born in a small town called Agbo. Agbo is in Delta State, in a Cass South local government area of Delta State in Nigeria. Um, Agbo is quite popular in the states. It's quite known for a few things, but it's not that a big kind of town. So that's where I was born, and I was there up till I was about 10, 11 years old. Then I moved to a bigger city called Warri. So many people might
Wafi.
know,
Wa-
many people might know Warri more. So I moved over there, and that's where I lived till I, went secondary school, university, and until I traveled out of the country. Yeah.
So what was your childhood like in Agbo?
Okay, yeah. So my childhood was quite fun. I remember being loved a lot, like pampered a lot. Because the thing is, I'm the seventh out of seven children. I don't
Woo!
like to say
The
I don't like to
seventh.
say I'm the last because I'm never last in anything. So I like to say I'm the seventh
Ah,
out of seven. So growing up, I had six elder ones. My immediate elder is 3 years older than me. So all of them are a lot older than me. They all took me like their kid brother, like
yeah.
this baby that they always looked after. And on top of that, we lived in a big house. I had a lot of aunties and uncles and relatives living in our compound. So they all took this, little Ose as their baby. I was everyone's baby. Everyone really looked after me. So I grew up kind of really pampered, I would say. Anytime I remember my childhood, I remember really, really being loved, really, protected. Almost maybe sometimes even almost overprotected. So that I was always, people always looked at, oh, don't like. I think that has even contributed to me now that I could be maybe risk adverse. So
Yeah.
because they didn't let me really, like when I saw that children maybe my age go out and play, ride bicycles, go into the bush, all that kind of stuff, they won't let me do any kind of stuff like that because they didn't want me to have any injuries. Like I was
Oh,
almost over pampered. Yes.
wow. That's not the picture I got from you since since I knew
Yeah,
you.
but yeah, so that was definitely my childhood. Like I
Yeah.
said, I left about as age 10, 11, I went to Warri. So in Warri it was slightly different because I didn't have that, if you like, cotton wool around me. So
Okay.
kind of changed a little bit from then on.
Were you still with? your parents, or did you stay with someone else in Warri?
No, so when I went to Warri, I went to live with my eldest sister.
Okay.
So my eldest sister got married around just around that time, and then her husband lived in Warri, so she obviously moved to Warri to live with the husband. And after a while, she approached my parents that she wanted me to come live with her if they were allowed that happen. And that's why I went to live with her. And yeah.
So when Warri and Agbo, which city do you identify with the most?
To a large extent, Warri, because as I went to Warri as soon as I finished primary school.
Yeah.
So I started, even though I started JSS1 in Agbo for maybe the first couple of months, then I went to Warri. I kind of started JSS1 again from Warri. So I spent JSS1 till the whole of secondary school in Warri. And then when I was going to university, so Warri was my base. So from 10, 11 years old up till I left Nigeria, it was Warri.
Oh, so your formative years were in Warri?
My main formative teenage years definitely was in Warri.
Was in Warri. Okay.
Yeah.
So
more of my friends, for example, would be Warri rather than Agbo, because the people I know in Agbo will probably be my primary school mates, not secondary or university.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll come back to Warri. But for your favorite childhood memory, I believe that will come from Agbo. And
favorite childhood memory will come from Agbo, yes.
So what will you consider that to be?
I don't think I can say one thing. I can
you
say
can
that
give two examples.
I can say it's every of my birthday. Because one thing that is also kind of, I say it's a fun fact about me is my birthday is the 1st of October.
Oh,
so as
yes,
we know, it's a national holiday in Nigeria. So it's Nigeria's So my birthday is always like a natural holiday already. Anyway, people will be at home, they'll already be in a celebratory mood, and then my birthday falls on the day. So my birthday was always special. Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
So my birthday was always special because it was a national holiday already. Everyone was around. So instead, like in my home, instead of celebrating, we'll just watch maybe the presidential address in the morning.
Yeah, and that was pretty early too. So
yeah. So that will be out of the way, and then maybe we'll go and do a march past at the government field. That's it. The rest of the day will be all about me. So every of my birthday is like a favorite day of mine because it was unique. Yeah.
Now I just thought about it. I don't think I ever attended a birthday on 1st of October throughout my time in Nigeria.
You're invited to the next one. So if you make your trip to London again.
I love that. Warri. Okay. So you went to school in Warri, and you did secondary school, and then went to university before you would leave Nigeria. So let me also ask for what would you consider one of your because now you're also in the content creating space, but you're not just limited to one version or form of content creating. So before we officially come to content creating, you have to you've been around stories, and stories have impacted you in your life. So when do you remember, or what do you remember as the first story that had an impact, or that let me say it this way. What do you remember as the first story to have had an impact on you?
Like a personal story, or
it could be just looking back now, like when was a story told to you that had an impact that you were like, maybe this is something that you don't know how, like you may not have realized it, but just at this moment I'm asking you, when did you have a story that maybe it was in Agbo or maybe it was in Warri that was told to you and you were like, wow, this story just stayed with you. It has always stayed with you in one way or the other.
Okay. So so as you say now, it's interesting because it just makes me think back, and I can see that there's been kind of a link about all my life. When I was a lot younger, I heard this story about, obviously Abo is like the kind of like a metropolis, and within that we come from like different villages and different quarters.
Yes.
I happen to come from a particular quarter that is, at least around Abo, is known for some specific things. And when I was a lot younger, one of the stories I heard is that in my particular quarter, we they do this. What, how will I call it? They do this medication that helps fight poisonous, any poison basically from
Okay.
animals or insects,
Mm.
more specifically snakes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was told the story of how, like in my particular, so like I said, Abo is a metropolis.
Yes.
Within that, you have villages and you have quarters. Yeah, so unique to my own quarter is called Ogbisoba, by the way. Ogbisoba. Yeah, they have this thing that they do where every year is not a vaccine per se, is more of a cure. So if someone has a snake bite,
Yeah.
you come to that place and they give you that medication, it will neutralize the poison.
Mm.
Not just is more famous for snakes, but
Yeah.
it also extends to scorpions, any insect. There are
So
some
yeah,
other
any
insects that are
venomous,
poisonous
any
as well.
venomous
Any venomous,
bite,
yeah,
yeah,
any
or
venomous
sting,
stuff, yeah.
yeah.
Yes, but it's more famous for snakes. And I heard that story a long time ago, like when I was young, and it kind of made this impact, and it gave me this kind of pride to say, my people, even though it's not like modern technology, it wasn't like this facility that produces, medicines and all stuff, but it's true local herbs. Like they go to the farm and they have these herbs,
Yes.
and it's not just done once. Actually, every year, because some of these things change. Sometimes they discover new species of, obviously, back home. Sometimes they discover new species of snakes or new species of insects. So the venom sometimes changes.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is that every year they renew it. Almost like, the way you have the flu jab here in the
Yes.
UK,
Yes.
where every year they are renewing it because the flu has different variants and it keeps,
Of course.
changing. So even back then, they had the same system where every year they were renewing it in that form. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I get it. And
So,
I'm glad
so
you went with something like that, because I wasn't I officially didn't have that written down, but I just recalled that. Yeah,
yeah, because
why don't I
I,
ask
I,
you
I
about
mentioned
your
that because
story?
yeah, up to you even ask this question. I didn't even think about it in that way, but you asking that question now kind of brought it back to me to see, like, you see that like there's a lineage and a connection from
There
when I
is.
was young and to what is kind of still important to me today.
Yes.
That kind of set that kind of pace, and because I find it really unique. Although, like what I'm saying, many people, maybe even outside the state, will not know about it because, as you know, we don't we don't really tell our stories as much. So it's become kind of incumbent on me to tell a story like this.
Yeah.
That people need to know about this kind of stuff. You get what I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah,
So
that's why I asked, and I'm glad that you went with a story like that, because it's not just a story for the sake of being a story. Our history is part of global history. And, when I began this podcast, I may not have come to that realization, but the more you do something, the more your eyes become more open. And while you were talking about our people, because your people are still my people, just a matter of different tongue, but we're literally in the same area. And they updated their system for they kept updating this, the anti venom that they had, which showed that they were updating. That's the key
yeah,
word, updating,
yeah.
which is what I wanted to specify, because I've seen something similar with a place that has a huge amount of venomous creatures, Australia. They, well, I think after a few people had died, or a lot of people had died, one day they came to realize that, hey, there are some indigenous people that have been living here for a long time. They have been dealing with this before we
Yeah.
came here. Maybe we should talk to them. And then you start talking to them and discover, hey, these guys had ways of dealing with the same snakes and all these animals that are quote unquote poisonous. So how do they deal with the bites and all that? And you start seeing something similar to your quarter in Agbo, and that information now. The difference is that we are now in an age where you can digitalize that information, and then you can now have, I had one of the best, he's one of the best surgeons from your part of the world. Well, he was born in Bangladesh, but he lives in London. Professor Safi, and he also had touched on something like this, that you can merge information like from Agbo with the schooling that they have in London and medical schools, and you bring both of them together. But someone like you telling that story, and then someone like a Professor Ahmed, Safi Ahmed, hearing that, and it's like, hey, why are we not talking to people like that and bringing those two information? It shouldn't be like we are rivals. It shouldn't be rivals, because everything that we have today came from someone like from Agbo.
Yeah.
But with time, somebody now starts acting like, oh, only we are the only ones that have all the access. But no, everything came from, everything came from that type of information, and then we update it, and we update it. And the fact that the people of Agbo, of one part of Agbo, have always been updating their information over the years, whether they do it orally or, as we've been discovering in many places, they've been writing. Some people had some form of writing, but the key word is updating. And that's why I love that you went with something like that. That just shows that it's not until a missionary pops up that oh yeah, we actually can do it. No. There's so much that we are beginning to find out in these days, and that's why I love.
Because, like you said, with the Australian example you gave, people have been living in those places and been dealing with those things, for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And they've been surviving. And they already have solutions to most of these things. It's just that, in quotes, foreigners or strangers, you go somewhere, maybe because you don't know what is existing, or maybe because they don't trust you enough to show you everything, you kind of almost have to start, rediscovering what is already there. And then that's where we start having these terminologies of I discovered stuff.
Exactly.
I don't think there's much discovery. You discovered it for yourself. It doesn't mean that thing didn't exist before.
Yeah.
So if you're talking to yourself and maybe people like you, it might be a discovery, but it's not a discovery to the locals per se.
That's true. So I still have another question about Agbo. So I was on a platform recently with a couple of Nigerian-born individuals, and after the recording was over, an argument broke out between someone from your part of Nigeria and another person from just across the river Niger. And the person from your state of origin said Agbo is not part of the Igbo tribe.
Okay.
That they shouldn't, the person from across the river Niger shouldn't claim Agbo is part of the Igbos. And the person from across the river Niger was pointing out that people from Agbo, Ogwashuku, are all they all attend. They have representatives at Ohanese meetings, and there's a possibility that the next head of Ohanese might even come from that area. So, for you personally, do you consider Agbo to be part of the Igbo people? And if it's too controversial, you don't have to answer that, but just try to get your opinion.
Yeah, of course I can answer. It's not necessarily like a personal thing. I'll answer it first, then I'll give you a bit of a background. Okay. Agbo is definitely not part of Igbo, for sure, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's get that very clear first. So, but the background is Agbo in itself is part of, say, a Ika South local government area, and on a bigger level is part of Ika land. Ika means that's IKA. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Ika land as a whole covers a bigger area. So it covers places like Owa, it covers places like Umwede, Abavo, Otolokbo, so many other areas. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, it spans into a little bit of Edo State. Eka land I'm talking about now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Agbo is the biggest and the most developed in the whole, biggest town and the most developed and the most popular in Eka land, right? So, because it's now part of this bigger area that is now called Eka, people like it kind of distorts the history of Agbo in itself. There are parts of Eka land that traces their history to Igbo land, which is in Ri in Anambra State.
Okay.
I think it's in Anambra State, yes, in Ri. That's some parts of Eka land, like I said, like some parts of Owa.
So not the whole of Eka land, but some parts.
Yes.
All
so as far as I know about history for sure, and I know it's definitely not Igbo. But
so
from what
not
I
even
know,
in the language. There's no similarities, or is there similarities?
Well, there are some similarities.
Okay.
There are some similarities in the language, but Agbo language in itself is definitely different and unique. If I'm speaking Agbo, the Igbo person might claim to understand a bit, but maybe they might understand maybe 20 to 40% at most.
Okay.
And that is if I'm being more basic. If I speak core Agbo, maybe at best I understand 30%. And maybe that's the one that has maybe missed with an Agbo person. But Igbo language, if you speak Igbo language, I mean, we all know that even when I say Igbo language, you know that Anambra is different from Owerri.
Yes.
Different from Umuahia. So yeah. So if we speak, say, Anambra, for example, Anambra is just next to the Delta State. I personally will understand probably 99.9%. That begins to fade when you go towards, say, Umuahia. Yeah, that percentage begins to reduce. But in the other way, an Igbo person will not necessarily understand Agbo unless they have either lived in Agbo or really mingled with an Agbo person. So what I'm trying to say to you is Agbo in itself, the history there's no evidence anywhere that is part of Igbo or has links with Igbo, apart from as a neighbor. Because like you rightly said, Igbo area is just they are our neighbors, it's just next door. And a lot of Igbo people lived in Agbo. And back in the day, we had, with the advent of churches, the Catholic Church, there's a lot of domination of Igbo people in the Catholic Church, especially back in the day. There's a lot of domination of Igbo people who worked also with the whites as admins and clerks and all that kind of stuff. So with the movement of, if you like, the colonial masters around the country, they moved around a lot of Igbo people and they were kind of in admin positions. So a lot of Igbo people were teachers or were priests or were reverend sisters and all that kind of stuff. And as you would know, with education and religion, a lot of things get kind of passed down. So if I have an Igbo teacher, for example, I'm more likely to start learning some things that are in quote Igboid.
Oh, okay.
The same way, if in church they spoke Igbo, because the priest is Igbo or the reverend sisters are Igbo, you can see where some of the influence will start coming in. Also, if Igbo traders are in the market, you can see where the influence will start coming in. So what I'm trying to say is, we might see today some similarities, but those are merely influences because we have because of the integration and interaction, not because there is an ancestral linkage. No, not with Agbo.
Yeah,
it could be with some other parts of Eka land, like I said, with say Owa, for example. Probably yes, with that. Look, why I'm giving you that background is because Agbo is the most popular in that whole Eka area. People refer to that whole Eka area as Agbo.
Okay, it makes sense now.
So chances are that you, up to maybe now, you never heard of Owa.
Yeah, I've never heard of Owa. That's true.
Okay, you never heard of Umwede, correct?
No.
Okay, I could mention in Eka land, for example, there are 11 clans. Agbo is one of them. But people outside refer to that whole area as Agbo.
That's correct.
For example, the train station today, the train station is in a place called Owoyibo, which is the headquarters of a Kano East local government area. But if you go there, the signboard says Abo train station.
Oh.
Even though it's even in a different local government area.
Yeah.
Because people in Abuja, people outside regard that whole area as Abo.
Oh, okay. It makes sense. I
Are
get it.
you getting
I
it?
get it now. I get it now.
Yes.
Thank you for that context. So now I get it. Okay, it makes sense. Now I know how to approach. Next time an argument like that is happening around me, and I know what I will say. So, you see that was another reason why I'm glad I brought you here. So, see, that's why we had to have you on the podcast so that you can help diffuse, educate us, and bring so much knowledge here. So, by the time you decided to go to university or college, as we say here in America, how did you know what you wanted to study, or what you decided to go study?
As in university, yeah?
Yeah, you went to university in Nigeria, right?
Yeah, I went to university in Nigeria. Actually, I wanted to study petrochemical engineering. That was what I actually wanted to study.
Which is a big thing for Niger Deltans.
Big thing for that, as you know, we come from Niger Delta. So petrochemical, you work refinery, oil industry. So that was kind of the attraction. Plus, at a younger age, at the time, petrochemical just sounded cool,
Yeah.
Petrochemical engineer. And obviously, I knew that, working in the oil industry, there was going to be money in it. However, the science, I did sciences up to WAEC and JAM, but I struggled with physics. I didn't pass physics in my WAEC, which is the for those who don't know, that's the exam you write. It's a West African exam that you write.
That's your final year exam after high school. And
yes.
So here, what was that? GRE? That's GRE here, right? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So every time I would pass the rest of the subjects, but I would not pass physics. So after 2 attempts, I decided to abandon pure sciences. I then went into social science. So I went for finance, and I ended up studying business admin.
Yeah, and then Nigerian schools, if you don't get all your sciences, forget about it. You can't go you can't go anywhere near anything that requires science. You got to get all the sciences. Just letting the audience know how Nigerian university system works. If you want to go,
I was very good with chemistry, biology, and the rest, but for some reason, physics. I don't want to go into maybe blaming the physics teacher, Those who would know Nigerian system will know that sometimes either the math teacher or the physics teacher, they were always like devil incarnates.
They were. I never had any maths teacher that I liked. It was until I came to I attended university in American university that I was like, oh, I actually knew maths. It was the teachers that yeah.
The teachers actually, again, I don't want to kind of blame them, but to a large extent, I think the teacher plays a big role in the subjects that you tend to like.
True.
Like I really liked my chemistry teacher, for example. I still remember he was from Calabar. A very nice guy. So he just made me fall in love with chemistry. And chemistry was just, he made it very, very easy for me. But physics, I never liked the guy.
So, before we come to the UK, we shall take a quick break. And then when we come back, we shall talk UK and then eventually get into content creating. Hi, everyone. We've made it 2 years, and who would have thought so? So let's go further and make it 3, make it 4, make it 5, make it 6, who knows? 20. But we can't do this without your support. So join us on Patreon at patreon.com/White Label American pod or linktree.com/White Label American Go there and you'll see our Patreon link, and you can join us for as low as $3. We have bonus content, we have bonus materials. There's so much juice over there that we don't release to the public. And yeah, you can contribute in making this podcast better. You can send questions, you can send your ideas, and also there's a lot of new things that are coming. The announcements are made on Patreon first, because we have to, take care of people who help make this podcast possible. So you can be the one to make this podcast what you want it to be. Come join us on Patreon and make it what you like to see. Join us, make it fantastic. Keep the 5 stars coming in, keep the love coming in. Thank you for the privilege of your company. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. So you decided to move to the UK, and was there any chance that you could have ended up somewhere else instead of the UK?
I mean, I was open to going somewhere to mainly for greener pastures, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I think where I was open was either America or the UK.
All right.
But what really influenced the UK is more that my brother was here already. My older brother was here already.
All right. So you got somebody to be there in case, Yeah, that helps too. That helps. So I gotta ask this question. What was your airline? You remember the airline that you took when you were leaving Nigeria?
Yes, I remember. I actually remember the entire trip like like it was yesterday. Yeah, just before I came, because the thing is, my kind of person now is that I'm a bit of an over planner. I get into the details a lot. So even when I was thinking about coming here, the school application and everything, I already started checking out the airlines that go to London, to Nigeria, and everything. And British Airways stood out to me. They say, British Airways, land in Heathrow. So I already kind of had the picture in my head. So when it got to the time where I was going to get a flight ticket, my dad was like, okay, have you checked it? Well, what flight is it? How much is it? And I just said British Airways. At the time it was 100K. At the time it was £400.
That's what we call the good old days now.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
Oh man.
But now passes nearing 800.
Dang.
So yeah, it was British Airways.
Oh man. So was that your first time flying out of Nigeria?
Very first time flying out of Nigeria, yes.
Okay.
Actually, first time on a plane, yes.
First time on a plane. So what was that flight for you? What was that experience like?
It was interesting. Actually, I even almost missed my flight. Because the thing is, I and one of my brothers went to Lagos. We actually arrived early, went to the airport, we checked the bags in. So I had my hand luggage. We went somewhere else to see a family friend, had a few drinks. It was very celebratory.
Yeah.
This guy is
so it's a celebration always.
All that kind of stuff. So we kind of relaxed a bit too much. Closer to the flight, we now left the house and I went to the airport. There was now traffic. so we were stuck in traffic. By the time we got to the airport, it was the flight time was like really close. What saved us was that I had checked in my bags earlier on.
Oh, okay.
So all the processes were done. It was just to
go to the gate. Yeah. Okay.
So I kind of ran through, and I was the very last person to go through the gate. In fact, as soon as I entered the plane, the air hostess just closed the door, and they said they've been announcing my name all this while. They closed the door even before I got to my seat. Like as soon as I entered, they just closed the door, and I went to.
Nobody was doing. Look at him. Look at him. Where you been? This young boys delaying the flight. Huh? We should have left. Delaying us.
And I sat, like I said, I remember the flight very well. I sat next to someone who was actually going to, I can't remember the particular city in America, but the person was on their way to America, so they were using London as
okay. Connecting flight, yeah.
So I remember like during the flight when they serve food and everything. It was my first time on the plane, obviously very naive and everything. And the guy was friendly, he was an Igbo guy actually. So after a while, I asked the guy, am I acting weird? Like am I behaving like a JJC? The guy laughed and said the guy laughed and said, no, you're okay actually. Don't worry about it.
Oh man, you were better than me. You asked. Me, I just, I was like a statue. I thought I was too good to ask questions. You see, at least you asked.
Yeah, I was a bit worried. I hope I wasn't doing too much. I hope I'm not acting out of whatever. Am I doing everything correctly? So I asked the guy, hope am I behaving okay? Hope everything is okay. I still remember the laugh. The guy laughed and laughed.
Oh
But
man.
he was cool. He said, no, you're all right. Don't worry.
Oh
Just
man.
relax.
Oh man, that first flight, man, that first flight. So it's always memorable. So you flew straight to London, right?
Yeah, straight to
Straight to London. So what was your first welcome to London moment for you that was like, wow, I'm no longer in Nigeria. This is a shock for me.
So I landed Heathrow and obviously the collecting of bags process. One thing that shocked me is because I came in February. February is like one of the coldest months, in the UK. So I had prepared when I was coming. I had bought like warm clothes and stuff like that. But when I came and discovered at the airport it wasn't cold. So I was thinking, what have I come to the right place? What was there? I hope I'm not still in Nigeria because it
Oh,
doesn't feel cold here. So obviously I took off my jacket because it was a little bit
yeah, it's gonna be warm
cold in
inside.
the. So I took off my jacket, hung it, freestyle over my shoulders, like, is this the code you're talking about? There's no code here. I can handle this. There's no code. So I obviously collected my bags, came back, took my stuff, made a phone call to my brother, obviously. The wife came to the airport to pick me. So but as soon as we came out, that's when the code hit. That's when the code hit me. I was like, wow.
Ah,
I then put on my jacket quickly because it
ah,
was just like walking into a freezer.
oh man, oh man, that first cold, man. That was me.
In the airport, I was thinking, oh, there's nothing, like I can
Yeah,
handle this. I don't even need my jacket. I
nope.
even took the jacket off. I was like, there's nothing here. Why are people complaining then?
Ah. Yep, that was me, man. At that time, I arrived in America. Mine was November. So, well, I left
Okay.
Nigeria October 31st, so I arrived November 1st. So, when I was
November
coming,
is a cold month.
yeah, it was cool. But I wasn't aware that America would do our own thing instead of we use Celsius, right, instead of Fahrenheit, or is it the other way? And I was watching CNN International. My mom had told me to wear the weather, the cold weather jacket and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I was watching CNN International, and they said they showed Lagos 35 degrees, Washington D.C. 35 degrees, and I'm going to Dallas Airport in Washington D.C. It's 35. I'm like, oh, 35, 35. I mean, I'm sweating in Lagos right now, so it's the same. What are these people talking about? Bring winter jacket, So I beg. I just wear a sweater, and I didn't even take the biggest sweater. I just wear one light sweater, and I want to show style. And, same thing too now when you're walking through the airport. I'm like, man, it's not cold.
Yeah,
Uh,
because there's heat at the airport.
yeah, you forget all that stuff until when I got to the arrival section, where people welcome you, and my mom saw me. My mom's like, "This boy, I knew you know where, I said, well, calm down, woman. It's My mom's like, I brought a jacket for you. I knew you wouldn't bring a jacket. I was like, that old people, I'm not wearing this stuff. Well, it's not fashionable. As soon as I step outside the building, that first wind blow, and it wasn't even the coldest time of the year itself. It was just that first wind blow. Yay! I beg, take me back. Take me back. I'll come back when it's warm. Ah! Oh man.
The code is very different. I mean, it's
Ah.
not it's not like the AC, the air conditioning we're
Whew.
used to in Nigeria. It's
Oh
cold.
no, 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 no. It's yeah, you believe. You just believe. Immediately the code touch you. You start to believe.
Nobody will tell you anything.
Uh, all
You
the
have to tell
all
yourself.
the doubt leave your body immediately. Like, whoa, you didn't tell me it was this cold. You were telling me cold. You didn't tell me it was this cold. It happened. You start you.
Okay, yeah. So what you're saying is that you mixed up the Fahrenheit with
Yeah,
Celsius.
with
Okay,
Celsius.
yeah, yeah, I
Well,
get it.
I was like, but it wasn't still their fault. It was my fault. But now I'm blaming them still. I was telling my home girl in South Africa this story. My home girl was like, "Oh man, she's like, she like, oh, she will never stop laughing every time she remember this story. She will remember something and just call me and say, oh, I remember this story of you coming out of the airport saying, it's too cold, it's too cold. I'm going back. I'll go back to Lagos. I'll come back when it's warm." Oh man. Oh.
Yeah,
So.
that first day is always interesting. Like I
Uh,
remember, even up to we got to the house.
mhm.
I remember like when we left the airport on our way out, I noticed there was this building like in Central, and you notice what do I call it now? Is it vapor coming out from the top of the building?
Oh yeah. Like it's like the steam evaporating, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
steam.
yeah,
So obviously, I think it's the heating
yeah.
system.
The
It's
heating
like
system. Yeah.
yeah. So I thought, why is no one like that building is on fire? Why is no one saying anything? I genuinely thought in my mind that the building was on fire. And I was thinking, like, am I the only one seeing this? And I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to look like an idiot.
Like a
I'm thinking, like,
JJC, like.
and I'm thinking, is there no one this building is on fire? Like, there's smoke.
Oh man, nothing beats when we are brand new, man.
It was memorable. Then we went into a McDonald's, and then I wanted hot chocolate. Obviously, because I wasn't, it was the first time in my life I was having hot chocolate. I mean, we have tea, bombita, that kind of
Yeah.
like drinks in Nigeria, but not this kind of type of hot chocolate. It was like boiling hot. So I didn't know. Obviously, there was a lid on it as well, so I couldn't even see anything. So I just kind of drank it, and I burnt my tongue. I burnt my tongue on the first day. I had to go to the chemist because my tongue was actually burnt.
Oh man.
That first day, like so much memories. Even I went to the pharmacist and I said I drank hot chocolate on my tongue was burnt. The person at the counter started laughing. Like, how did you burn your tongue?
You missed an opportunity for lawsuits.
Yeah, maybe if I knew now. Because actually I think I've actually heard someone actually sued them and got money for it because
I don't know if it would have worked for you.
Or they don't expect it to be boiling hot.
Well, I don't know if it would have worked for you because the person already got money by then. But yeah, I just mean you still missed an opportunity to try.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I remember they gave me some gel. I had to put some gel on my tongue to get the days.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I still can't do like boiling hot drinks though. But yeah, well, man, that's the first few days. I mean, I still get some shocks now, but it's still that's still priceless. Oh man. So you arrive in the UK, you start settling in. Um, how did you now go about career? You're working. How did you figure that out?
Yes, I arrived in the UK. I actually arrived to study to do my masters.
Yeah.
So by the time, actually the school had already resumed, so I was kind of a week or two behind already at the time. So I obviously went to school, registered, and did all that kind of enrollment. I was still with my brother at the time, but I was very eager to look for a job to start making money because
the hustle.
Once you travel, the next minute everybody's expecting that you will send a messages.
I'm telling you.
So I was very eager, to get a job. I remember telling my brother, like, any job, even if it's sweeping the streets, anything. My brother used to laugh at me and I was like, calm down, just for now, focus on your school. Relax, like, calm down, And then gradually I got something. Someone introduced me. I actually started my very first job as a cleaner in a shop because I was that desperate to start earning money and stuff like that. My immediate need then was even calling back home.
Yeah.
You have to at the time you have to. It's not these days we have WhatsApp, WhatsApp calls and stuff. So at the time you have to buy calling
Calling
card,
cards.
call
Woo!
back home.
Man.
So
Those guys
obviously at the
are
time
all
I
out
didn't
of
have
business now.
yeah. At the time I didn't have money, so I had to, start doing something. I needed to buy clothes. Obviously my brother gave me clothes and
Yeah.
accommodation. But I obviously needed to start
But
getting my own
you
stuff.
needed the clothes for your brother's
Yeah,
fashion sense and your fashion
yeah,
sense.
yeah. So yeah, my actual first job was as a cleaner in a shop. Yeah.
Wow. So you and I, because before I think this kind of played a role with the content creating without us realizing it. So the way you and I met was through the internet, and
Yeah.
we met on a website that's now a social media platform that's now defunct. I don't think we even knew that was social media. Well, to me, I didn't call it social media back then. I just called it a website, and that was
Yeah.
highfive.com. That was the
Yes.
place,
Yeah.
and I would just go there, and that was like a year before I left Nigeria. Or yeah, that was like a year before I left Nigeria. I would just come into one of the rooms, and one day I don't even know how I don't even know how I found the room that you used to be in, and then you guys, I would just come, blah 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 blah, leave messages, and you guys will respond, and then next thing I arrived in America, and then we're always throwing banter back and forth, and hey, that's how all of a sudden we became a community. So do you remember the very first time you communicated with me?
I can't remember the very first time we communicated. No, I can't remember. But I remember obviously that we met in the forum
Yeah.
room and we're chatting and stuff. Actually, it was even recently I was thinking about it. Clubhouse is just like an audio version of High Five.
It is.
It's just an audio version of High Five.
I think if High Five had that foresight to I think because I think High Five they were getting engagement, so I think they just felt like there's not
Yeah,
we don't need to do anything else, so
yeah.
we're just good because High Five it was bigger than Facebook.
Oh yeah,
It
there
was
was no
like
Facebook then.
because I remember people begging me to come join Facebook. Then I like,
Yeah,
what is this? What is
when
this
there was High
Facebook?
Five, at the time there was no Facebook. Facebook came later, and there was even a hesitation to go
Yeah,
to
it was
Facebook.
a lot of begging. Like, come to Facebook, come
Yeah,
to Facebook. I'm like, no, what is this Facebook? I don't know. Face what? We all here fighting. We all here.
yeah,
The action is here. I come here. If I don't want to talk to Nigerians, I go talk to Ghanaians. If I don't want to talk Ghanaians, I can go talk to there are some football rooms. I'm like, yeah, what is this Facebook? Facebook look boring. I don't know.
yeah.
So what am I doing on Facebook? Nah. So I think they just felt like they had the world cornered, and
Mhm.
yeah. So why do anything? That was it. I think that was just their mindset. Like,
But I think they were introducing features, but I don't know if those features were that much engaging because after a time you could then upload pictures. After a time you could then
yes,
do
I
some
remember.
kind of
That's true.
update. After a time you could upload videos and listen
Oh, you could
to.
upload videos.
Yeah, I don't know if you could upload video, but I knew there
I
was a
remember
music
there was
feature after a
problems
while.
with pictures at one point because I know there was a struggle. Well, I
Mm,
had after I came out of basic training, I was trying to upload pictures, and yeah, the pictures I couldn't upload them on High Five, and then I think that was the first time I uploaded photos to Facebook, and everything just went through, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll use this Facebook, and that was that was literally my turning back on High Five,
yeah,
and
yeah. But do
I,
you remember Niger? Is it Niger Loaded or Niger Reloaded?
I think
Dot
so.
com?
I think it was Nigeria Reloaded. I think
Yeah,
that was the
it kind of went in, if you Nigerians developed that website, so it kind of became another version of High Five.
oh
Yeah, yeah. And then they had some there you could then I think what was this other website where you could almost like sync it to a music streaming site?
Oh,
Is it MySpace or something?
MySpace. Yes, MySpace. So MySpace, you know what? I never shut down my MySpace account. So I don't know what my MySpace account. Oof, people might cancel me if they go see my MySpace account now.
Yeah, I never really liked MySpace.
I know I opened a
It seemed like
MySpace
it was too
account.
much. It was too much.
I try to put music there, but I don't know. There was some requirement or something, and I was
Oh,
like, I'm not doing. This is too much work, and I just high five was so easy back then.
yeah, it's not these days where now we give out information. We don't think it just puts emails, password, date
Hmm.
of birth, and you just put it everywhere. Back in the day, if they ask you one or two things, like you start suspecting the website, like why do you need all this information? But these days, we just give out all our information without
Oh
even
man,
thinking.
high five was the introduction, and it was so crazy how I never, thought we'll have a relationship where, how many years later, because
It's been a long time, So
yeah, it
this
was, I think it was
we're talking
2006.
2006, 2007.
It was 2006 I joined High Five. So it was
Wow.
probably 2007 that I got to know
So
you.
16 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. So, and
Long time.
we've gotten two marriages. Unfortunately, the first marriage I know from High Five, they were much older. So unfortunately they've passed away. They were both in the UK. Um, but they were an older couple. The guy's from Kenya. He was born in Kenya and married an older white British lady. And they both died 1 year apart. He died and then she died. And
Wow.
yeah, but yeah, he was the first person to let me know. Oh, he's gonna get married. And yeah, she was messaging me like, "Oh, I might." I don't know if his love is real. Like I was like, I don't know if his passport is trying to get 90-day fiance. I don't know. But they used to be cool with me, and I knew them from another room in on High Five. But I think that was the first online community that I got was through High Five, and
Wow.
since High Five, I've never gotten an online community like High Five again, like I had on High Five, where I got the good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean,
Yeah.
the other ones I've gotten have been mostly it's either I get some good or bad. It's like one extreme. The High Five had like balanced, which
Yeah.
is weird to say. Like you found everything in one place, and so it's crazy. Like our mutual acquaintance Fab Sledge, he's graduating. He just moved to America now, and he's graduating next month. Hopefully, I'll be about his graduation, and then he'll be on the podcast.
Fab, yeah?
Fab Sledge,
Yeah. Which part? Which part of America?
Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's another person from the group. Jennifer is also in the UK. Sarah has been on the podcast. So it's just wonderful how High Five contributed a lot to this to the content creating community without my realizing it. Because I did a lot of writing on High Five. Because a lot of it, yes, came through arguing, but I did because you could write, and there were like blogs with there were some places where you could like write blogs and
Yeah.
post, and that was how I started writing on soccer, football, and yeah, and I wrote a lot. I did a lot of writing there, but it was more from the point of arguing. I thought I was just
Yeah.
arguing, but I was writing a lot of football stuff. So
Premier League, Premier
yeah,
League fighting.
so I just wanted to give a shout out to High Five because High Five brought a lot of people my way, which yeah, I don't think any. Yeah, Facebook has brought a lot of people my way too. Twitter, Instagram, but it all began with High Five
Yeah.
because many people don't still. refer to high five as a social media, but it was the social media for
Oh,
me.
definitely a social media.
It was the social
Definitely.
media for me, and yes, just my unofficial shout out. And it's like the way many people don't even, there was one day I was talking to somebody, I can't remember who I was talking to, and the person was like, "Oh, I don't do social media." I was talking, talking, talking. I just like watching videos on YouTube. I was like, YouTube, social media too. It's like, but YouTube has been around forever. I was like, yeah, but it's social media.
You know,
Huh?
even WhatsApp, people don't even consider WhatsApp
Yeah,
social
they don't
media.
consider WhatsApp social media.
It just feels like a normal contact list.
Yeah, it's like, oh, but
But WhatsApp is actually social media.
I text. It's a text messaging. I'm like, it's social media too. They're like, what? I said social media too. I'm like, yes, it is. They're like, what? No, it's not. It's not the same thing. It's not. It's not. It's not the same thing. You can. I'm like, but why is it not? Tell me why. Why is it not? The same thing that you get on social media, or your Facebook, you can get it on WhatsApp. Yes or no? It's not the same. Why is it not the same? Why? Uh,
I mean, that shows the good job they have been able to do, to be
mhm.
able to have integrated into your kind of normal phone, that it just feels like a normal contact list.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out to well, now RIP to High Five. You laid the pathway, and
I
unfortunately,
mean, I must give a big shout out to High Five as well, because I
yeah.
mean, I met a lot of good people in there as well. I mean, I met you, and I met there's actually a doctor in America that I saw for the first time in 2019 when I came to America, but I've known her since High Five days as well, and we speak from time to time. And ultimately, I met my wife on High Five as well.
I was waiting for you to say that. I was about to say, hey, no, don't
Yeah,
don't
so I
don't
mean,
don't go get
when
me
you're
in
giving
trouble, because I knew your wife
when
would
you're
call me
giving
and
a
say,
shout out, I think I have to give the biggest shout out to High Five, because I met my wife, that I've been married to now for 7 years.
yay.
Yeah, last month, just 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago,
yeah.
was our
Well, yeah,
seven
that's a few weeks
seven month
ago, because
anniversary.
I got the reminder in my memories, both Facebook and Google. I was like, oh yeah, it was just a few weeks ago. I was in the UK. So yeah. So for listeners, high five. So for some of you who are too young, you might be like, what the hell is this high five they keep talking about? Yeah, there was something that existed way before Facebook. Yes, and well, so even some of you, well, I know some of the young people don't even talk about Facebook. It's TikTok now. Everything is all TikTok. But way before TikTok existed, let me tell you. Now I'm 40, so I can tell. Let me tell you, young guns, high five existed. You ain't know nothing about the game if you ain't know nothing about high five. So now you know. It's, when social media museum eventually comes out, we'll have a big space for high five in there.
Definitely, and that,
So
that kind of gave us the experience, and that's where many of us got used to interacting with quote unquote strangers,
yeah,
people based all over the world with different ideologies, different mannerisms, different attitudes, different upbringings. Start getting used to all that kind of stuff. So when these days we see all this social media coming up now, it's very similar. The idea is very similar. So we kind of have that experience already. So yeah, it
yeah,
just it's
we don't realize that we've been practicing
yeah.
for a long time. We just think that, oh, it's brand new. Everybody's, nah, you've been in the game for much longer than you realize. So um, I remember just before your wedding, I remember you playing with cameras then, and I was like, oh, if you had asked me then, like not you, but if someone had asked me then that what is Ose going into, if Ose is going into content creating, what's your prediction? I would have said strictly photography or film making. If I had, if I were to place a bet, then I wouldn't have added YouTube making content that will be more than one channel on YouTube. So how did you officially begin to embrace your content creating how did you begin to embrace your creative juice within you, and what was the inspiration for embracing the creativism within you?
Okay, so I've always liked photography from when I was young because my dad is actually a very popular photographer in Abo, in my town,
Yeah.
and Hope Photos. So people know my dad. In fact, many people probably don't even know my dad's like a normal name. They know him by his business name, Hope Photos. So from when I was small, when I was young, I always played with this lighting because he didn't. After a while, he stopped doing it and went into drinks business.
Okay.
So he had a big shop where he sold drinks. So the photography equipment was still like on one corner. So the lighting, all that kind of stuff. Where back in the day, they used to like wash the negatives and all
Yeah.
that kind
Yeah.
of thing. So I used to play with all that a lot. And obviously around the house there was a lot of pictures and stuff. So that photography stuff has kind of always been at the back of my mind. And obviously I like beautiful things. I like capturing things that are unique. So for me, like every second that is passing is unique. Everything you're seeing, every second is unique. Like you're never going to get exactly that scene again. Every second is unique in that way. So that's why I started kind of taking pictures, to capture those memories that, tomorrow that thing is not going to be, even if it's just grass, like that leaf is not going to be exactly like that again tomorrow.
True.
So I started capturing like pictures gradually like that. And that's how I started playing the camera. But I didn't really like to be in front of the camera because, excuse me, I'm a bit camera shy. And generally in everything I do, and I usually kind of operate from behind the scenes. I don't usually like to be at the forefront of much things generally in many things. Whether it's in classrooms and stuff like that, I will not be the one maybe sitting at the front. I will always be at the back. I will not be the one asking questions. You probably will not hear from me. But in the exams, I will do well. Generally, in things, I like to operate from behind. So I would like to be behind. I always like to be behind the camera. So photography, it was easy for me to get into photography. I was not going to be in the front. As I speak to you, I don't even have a lot of a lot of pictures of myself. Because I like taking pictures of other people.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of started getting into photography. And again, being my over planning self, I actually went and I did a diploma in photography. I actually did a diploma in photography because I thought I needed knowledge. I got a couple of books, actually read up about it and all that kind of stuff. And that's how I dabbled into photography. And then obviously, I don't know if that's going to be a next question, but gradually I started kind of going into video
Yes,
because
connected.
if a picture captures, let's say picture says 1,000 words, then imagine what what a video does. So I kind of started moving into that's how I kind of grew into video. Again, because I'm a very kind of, if you like, non-camera friendly. I don't use the word shy because I'm not really shy like that, but I just don't like to be in front of the camera. So I knew that one day I would need to be in front of the camera. I knew that I would one day. So I kind of started practicing, and that was kind of at the time Snapchat came out. I don't know if you use Snapchat, but that was at the time
I have
Snapchat came
Snapchat,
out.
but yeah, I don't.
Don't use it that much, yeah. Okay.
Got it.
So I actually created the Snapchat. I didn't actually use my name. I just used a random name, and I actually wanted to kind of, if you like, showcase other people.
Yeah.
So I started doing it. I would not post myself. I would post other people. Once in a rare while, I would post myself and started practicing. And the good thing with Snapchat is you post it and in 24 hours it's gone.
Yeah.
That's it. So even if I was camera shy, at least I could, if you like, tolerate it for 24 hours. After 24 hours, nobody's seen it again. So that's how I kind of trained myself because, like I said, I knew that one day I would need to be in front of the camera. I knew that I had something to do in the future, even though at the time I didn't know what it was. But I knew that sometime in the future, I would have to do something that I would be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So I started kind of training myself, and Snapchat helped a lot to that.
Wow. That's good. You found it. I think it's the first time I've heard someone talking about using Snapchat to improve their creating skills, and I think it's great because most times people tend to like oh, Snapchat is only for kids or perverts or all that, and we forget that every app there's a lot of great stuff that you can do, and there's a lot of it can everything can be used to build your skills up.
Yeah.
So there's someone who I'll be interviewing very soon, probably about 2 days from tomorrow, and he's the reason why I'm about to be on TikTok now. Because I met him recently, and he was like, "Man, you should be on TikTok. You can use it to promote your podcast." And I was like, I don't put myself on camera like that. It's not like I call myself dark sexy or with a sexy back. I call myself. I'm not. I'm confident with words, that kind of thing. But I don't always worry about being on camera though. But I can talk. Talking is not my problem. But
Yeah.
I just see the way people do TikTok, and I'm like, I don't know if I really want to do that. But he said, nah. He talked to me, and he was like, there's so many things you can do. It's not just about you. Why you got to do what other people are doing? You can do your own thing. And he gave me some ideas, and I was like, okay. Well, it sounds good. I should try it. It's like, well, you already got some stuff you put it on Instagram.
Mm.
You can repurpose this into TikTok videos.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, well, why not? It's like, yeah.
Oh, you should
So
definitely be on TikTok.
yeah, so I was like, yeah. So myself and Corey, the founder of the Black Podcasters Association, we were talking about it recently, and he's about to be on TikTok. He was like, yeah, I've been slacking too. I should be on TikTok, and it's the same because sometimes you just be like, oh, this young kids that are on TikTok, so I don't need to be there, and I'm like, nah, I can be there too. I can put my own stuff out there, and yeah, it doesn't mean that I can't use it to learn something. The other day I was talking to another podcaster, and she was like, "Oh, did you have Canva?" I was like, "No," but Josh has told me about Canva a long time ago, and she's like, "Yeah, Canva is every independent podcaster's best friend. Use it, play with it, just play with it. If you're not even using it for anything, play with it, see what comes out." And I'm like, you know what? That's the key word there. Play with it. You have Snapchat, play with it. If it doesn't work for you, fine, but play with it. Use it to build your skill. Try it out. I know many people in Nigeria that they isn't literally that's their employment right there. Play
Yeah.
with it. So instead of because if someone is busy complaining, oh, these children are using this to find a boyfriend or girlfriend, I'm like, is that what you focus on, or you can focus on using it to build a
Oh no,
skill? You know,
those things it can be used for anything. So
anything.
it's up
So
to
it's up
you.
to you,
It's up
right?
to you what
What you
direction
want?
you want to go. You want to go with it. So yeah,
So
some people use it
I
just for education. Some people use it for business. Some people use it to
exactly.
get clients. Some
Because
use it to create awareness. Whatever, it's up to you.
I don't, I get notifications that, oh, one of your friends who's on Snapchat posted, and once in a while, I'll put my Snapchat app on.
Yeah.
And when I open it, I will see, oh, New York Times, this big media, all this Real Madrid or whatever. They are also there. I'm like, all the big
Yeah.
businesses are there.
Yeah.
And then it's you who's the independent guy who's like, you know what? I only need to be on one or two because I don't do social media. I'm like, man, quit limiting yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I just say.
You have to
So
limit yourself. And the
yeah,
thing is, you have to try a few of them because each of them have their own
like
uniqueness.
uniqueness.
And then
Yes,
you will kind of find the one that you are comfortable with.
that's
You
right.
just notice that you gravitate towards one more. So, for
Exactly.
example, since TikTok came out, I don't use Snapchat anymore. Like the Snapchat is almost dead
Mm-hmm.
because TikTok is even easier for me. And because you can just do stuff on the phone, and there's a lot of inspiration because you can see what other people are doing, and it's funny, it's fun to do. So it just makes it easier. And you have limited time as well. That's one thing with Snapchat, because you also have, I mean, initially for me, because you have limited time, and this was one advantage that Instagram had in the beginning, where you had maybe 15 seconds to, pass your message.
Yeah.
Because you have that limit, it forces you to almost be creative, even if you're not creative before.
Yeah,
Because
you get
you're not
creative.
constrained to deliver your message in this amount of time. Otherwise, it's like you have not done anything. So if
It's
you're
kind of
able
like
to,
the Instagram, sorry, not Instagram, Twitter with its word
yeah, the
limits.
characters on
Yeah, the
Instagram, yeah. So
character
you have to
limit.
send a message, otherwise you have to start doing 1 of 3, 1, 2 of 3.
Yeah.
You have to deliver it like it's like when you have a bio. You have to try and make sure you deliver your message in that bio.
Yeah.
So it forces you to use less words, irrelevant words, and all that kind of stuff, and be able to, pass out your message. So yeah, so when you use a few of them, you'll find one that you naturally gravitate towards, and hopefully build a community, and hopefully whatever message or vision you have, you're able to pass it through that form. For
Yeah.
example, TikTok is one that I've been, if you like, quote unquote, the most famous on, because one of my videos on TikTok got over 300,000 views on TikTok.
Wow.
And it was reposted on a few Instagram blogs. And in total, I would say it got nothing less than 2 million views.
Wow. That means
And that was the
you've gone
video that,
viral then.
yeah, that video actually went viral.
Yeah.
And this video was done during lockdown.
Yeah.
So, but even up to now, every week, the video still gets maybe 10 likes every week still, like
Wow.
18 months after.
So
So there's the opportunity to imagine you have a message you want to really pass to the world. There's an opportunity for you to reach millions of people for free.
So for a video like that, does TikTok pay you?
Well, they pay you, but you have to first meet the criteria. So I think at the moment you have to first have 10,000 followers. Is it 100,000 or something like that? You have to first hit a minimal level of followers, and then obviously sign up for the creator funds, and then yes, they pay.
Oh, so even
I mean, just like everywhere. I don't know about podcasting, but on YouTube, the same thing. You have to first have 1,000 subscribers and have 4,000 watch hours before they start paying you. So the same thing.
YouTube. Okay, yeah, YouTube. Yeah, yes, yeah, YouTube. I know.
Yeah, so if you haven't hit this criteria, even if you have 100 million views,
they won't
because you're not in the program.
Okay. Yeah, that's their.
But then there's always, I mean, apart from the normal payments, and this applies to every social media. There's more opportunity to make money.
Yeah.
Outside
of the yeah.
So yeah.
Which is good to know. All right, so one thing that I know about you, and another reason why I wanted to bring you here is from our conversations, like another person who we have on our high five, who we got to know through high five, who is also a content creator. I'm not going to say his name, but unlike both of us, it's not like an attack on the person or anything, but it's like another thing we have in common is that you, with your content creating, you are not just about, oh, I want numbers or I just want large followership. You also care about your content, about being reliable, about what you are putting out there having meaning, and people finding value in the content, and like you can be held accountable for what you put out there. So why is that important to you?
I think it's my person in general, because as I say, a fruit doesn't fall very far from the tree. So I think in about everything one does, I think it comes from kind of your personality and what is important. Like for me, like things like straightforwardness, honesty, truth, at least at the time of, like, in relative to your knowledge at the time, those things are generally very important to me. So I'm not I don't have the need, for example, for popularity. To be honest, it's not like I mind people. Actually, I don't know. Maybe I don't mind it. So I don't have the need for it. Um, I have a purpose of why I'm doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Predominantly is not because of money. Predominantly is not because of numbers. Is mainly because I have a message to pass. So even when it's not video, even if it's a tweet, even if whatever it is, even when I was doing Snapchat, even when I do TikTok, even YouTube, whatever I do, I actually have a message that is deep within me that I want to pass. And it's very important to me that I pass that message. And I know that sometimes in content creation, there is that you almost have to sometimes put some spices to make it, if you like, blow up.
Yeah.
So, but it's more important to me that the message is genuine, because for me, I always think about later years. I always remember something one of my bosses used to say to me, that when we are 70, 80, and he described this picture that is in my head still. He was telling me then I was a department manager. He was kind of, if you like, coaching me on how to handle my colleagues and stuff. And he was saying that whatever decision you make, whatever you do, just know that when you are, say, 70s, 80s, you retire, that time sales, profits, salary, all those things don't matter to you anymore. They are probably 40 years behind. Yeah. But there is one thing that will stay with you. How the decisions you made and how you treated those colleagues or those people that worked for you. You will, whether you like it or not, you will remember these things.
Yeah.
And it will be you who is sitting on your swivel chair, and relaxing on your chair in your old age, and those memories will come. And it will be like you will be judging yourself. So, and he was saying that what you don't want is finding yourself guilty. You want to be able to remember those things and say, I did my best. It doesn't mean that it has to be perfect, but let it be that you were genuine. You didn't purposely hurt anyone. You didn't purposely cheat anyone. You didn't purposely maltreat anyone. It doesn't mean that you would not have maybe maltreated someone. Sometimes you can maltreat someone.
There'll be mistakes, obviously.
Yeah. But what is important is that you have not done it deliberately. Hand on your heart, between you and yourself, between you and your conscience, you know that you did not set out to purposely deceive, maltreat, cheat, or other kind of stuff. And he said, just remember that every time like you're making a decision. And I remember that because that actually aligns very much with even my person. So coming back to the content creation we're talking about, whatever I put out, even if it's a blog, I want to be able to read it when I'm 80, or even my children to be able to read it even when I'm not here, and be able to see that this guy was being genuine. I'm not think, oh no, come on, he was being fraudulent.
Yeah.
I will absolutely, like, it would absolutely break my heart if my children will watch one of my videos and think, oh, he was being fraudulent. So I think about those kind of, so that kind of restricts me in what I do, and kind of guides me, maybe not restrict, but it kind of guides me to stay in kind of, at least what I know is true and what is a good message, not just because I want to be viral.
Yeah.
But because I've done it for, if you like, a good purpose.
You have your guiding principles.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let me begin to wrap up, and I appreciate you for giving me your time. But I can't have you here without asking two important questions. So you have traveled a lot, and you make great content that adds value to humanity. But I need to know, where does your favorite food come from? If you had to give us one food right now, your favorite cuisine, what is it and where does it come from?
My favorite food, that has to be from Apple. I'm definitely from Apple.
Smart, not try to betray the cause.
Unfortunately, I don't get to have it a lot because we don't have much of it where I live. Yeah,
So
so
what
it's
is
called ujujun soup.
what?
Ujujun soup.
Ujuju soup. I don't have I had
Ujujun
that
soup.
before? I don't think so. Oh,
Have
oh,
you?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's quite
It's a
a
niche.
local delicacy. Maybe people in Edo State might
Oh,
have it.
okay. If those state has it, then I'm not still sure. If except I know it by a different name there.
They may have it, yeah. And
Um,
actually, you asked about the question earlier on about Igbos and stuff.
yeah.
The Agbo actually has more links with Edo than anywhere else.
Oh, okay. So, well, what is the best? Is it meat or fish that goes with the soup?
Ah, bushmeat.
Bush meat. Okay, there we go.
Bushmeat, yeah, definitely bushmeat.
All right. Okay, so that's your next assignment. You have to get that soup for me now. And what was the best thing to eat it with?
Pounded yam.
Hey, the ultimate. Inyo.
Pounded yam, but yellow yam though. Do you know yellow
Oh,
yam?
yellow yam.
Yes.
Oh man, when was the last time I had yellow yam? I can't remember.
But you know yellow yam, yeah?
Man, that's a long time ago. I ate yellow yam.
Okay, yeah. So yellow yam, pounded yellow yam.
Pounded yellow yam. That's a long. But they have that. They form the what's it called? The pounded yam the yam flour that we have. They should have yellow yam of that.
No.
No.
Well, not that I've seen.
Okay.
Not
Yeah,
that
I
I've
don't
seen.
recall
Not that
seeing
I've
that.
seen in London.
Okay, I know what I was thinking. I was thinking of the plantain one because that's yellow. That's true. I've not seen. I was just search. Maybe Jeff Bezos has discovered that secret too because that guy everywhere now. He got everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has it. You know. So everybody who appears on this podcast automatically is considered a dancer. If you claim you don't dance, we'll just stop recording and kick you out of the podcast.
Oh, they're considered a dancer.
Yes, you automatically considered a dancer.
But
So,
you of all people will know that I can't dance.
my friend, it's too late now to deny. We've already crowned you a dancer. So we need you to dance for at least 1 hour. We need you to name 3 artists that will keep you dancing for an hour. Now, you can't go and be giving us the most popular artist and be giving us Burna. Burna Boy is banned from this podcast. In fact, too many people have been calling Burna Boy. So we'll ban him. Banished. Exile. We exile that guy. You can't give us the Drakes. You can't be giving us those names. You can give us one Agbo artist. I don't think I know any Agbo artist. So you can give us one Agbo artist. But you can give us some other names too. You can give us somebody from your part of London. We don't have. We'll take a London artist. Yeah, yeah. So give us 3 artists that will keep you dancing for at least 1 hour.
Okay, 3 artists that you would not know, yeah?
Well, some of my audience might know, but yeah, okay, maybe that I might not know. Yeah, but at least one from Agbo.
Okay. Okay, let's start with one from Agbo. Joe Morgan.
Joe Maga.
Joe Morgan.
Morgan. Okay.
Yeah. Joe is Joe, Joe, and then Morgan.
All right.
That's from Agbo.
All right.
I'll give you 2 from Agbo. The next one will be Akwete.
Akwete. Why that name sound familiar?
Chief Akwete.
Chief yes. Akwete. Have I heard his music before? Is my memory bank opening up all of a sudden?
And then let's go with my UK favorite, Dave.
Dave.
Dave, yes.
Is he rap? Dave? Is he rap?
Well,
it's not
really rap.
It's not Craig David, right?
No, Dave.
Dave.
D-A-V-E.
Dave.
You never heard of Dave?
I may have. I don't know.
He's originally from Nigeria anyway. He's a UK artist. You should definitely check him out.
Nigerians and UK.
He's done a track with Whiskey as well.
Oh, okay. Well, in fact, that the invasion UK music space. It's well.
You guys are now in America. You're not really conversant with UK musicians.
Right? It's not we. It's me because I have music from everywhere. So my music list is.
Well, you know Stormzy.
I know Stormzy.
Okay.
I know a few. I know my man Idris Elba is still my favorite because I want him to be on my
Okay. So
podcast.
Why December is more actor, right?
His music
It's more of an actor, but
his
just
music is
different.
popping. But his music is still my number one because he has to be on this podcast. So he's also my unknown elder brother. Well, it's just that's a story for another day. So you know. So how do you say thank you in Agbo?
Jamaica.
Yeah. No, we'll move on. We'll move on to the next
No,
one.
no, no, no. You have to say it.
Yeah. Wait, okay. Say it again.
Ye me ye ke.
Yeme Eka.
Ye me ye ke.
Yemeka. Why did I ask that question now? I didn't. Yeah.
No, you have to say it now.
Yem.
I won't let you off now. Take over the podcast now.
Hey.
Ye me ye ke.
Yemeka.
Why you saying ka? It's ke.
Ke.
So
Yemeka.
ye me ye ke.
Man, you guys, you see, other languages is much more easier for me. It's the one that's right next door to me. That's Yemeka.
Yes. That's it.
Yemeka.
Ye
Okay.
me ye ke. That means I've done
Yemeka.
well. Oh, thank you.
Okay, Yemeka. Whew, man, this one, before I even walk out of this building, I don't think I would remember. So, final question for you, Jose. What would you like to leave the audience with? You can freestyle, can be from one of your blogs, could be from one of your poems you've written or read, or from Dave.
What would I like to leave the
Yeah,
audience with? Yeah.
yeah. Freestyle, you go.
Okay, so what let's say now? Uh, what would you? Sorry, I have to kind of ask something else. What which? Okay, would you say majority of your audience are Africans
They're from
or not?
everywhere, but it's up to you. Just
Okay,
flow, flow.
let me speak to the Africans.
Okay.
Yeah, let me speak to the Africans. Yeah, so the Africans listening, I think we have to do more to showcase Africa. No one is going to come and tell our story for us. We have to tell our story. So whether it's through podcasts, whether it's through YouTube, social media, any opportunity you have, go out there, tell the story. Thank you.
All right. So, where can people find your beautiful work that you do? And we're going to definitely do a part two with you where we'll just strictly talk about all the contents that you do because you put out a lot of content. So, your part two definitely will just be about your contents. But yeah, so today was just your origin story and Agbo mostly. But yeah, let the people know where to find you and your content.
Okay, yeah. So most of my content is actually on YouTube. I'm obviously on Instagram, TikTok, and the rest, but most of my content is actually on YouTube. Like you're saying, maybe we'll dive in more later. But basically, on 3 YouTube channels at the moment. Kind of a YouTube premier, upcoming YouTube premier. So I have 3 YouTube channels. The first one is Everything in Car. That's predominantly focused on a car land where I come from. That's showcasing everything about a car. So if you're interested in learning more about Agbo people and the car land as a whole, our culture, our language, music, all that kind of stuff, check out Everything a Car. A car is IKA on YouTube. So that's not for that. The second one is My Dear African. So that is where, from on my experiences and from what I've seen from traveling abroad, I discovered that there's actually a bit of a knowledge gap between Africans in Africa and Africans in diaspora. So on that channel, I showcase Africa and I share the knowledge. And the most recent one is Parlor Pitch. So that is an investment platform for African SMEs. SMEs are small and medium scale enterprises where people pitch their businesses, and if the investor likes the business, they invest. So that is Parlor Pitch. So those are the 3 YouTube channels where you can find me a lot.
Alrighty. So most definitely we'll have you on a part two. Maybe for your birthday, we could do a part two for your birthday. But no, before your birthday, we'll definitely have you here, and we'll focus mostly on the YouTube channels and we'll talk on each one. And yeah, so Say the thank you again because I already forgot it.
Jamaica.
Make it.
Yeah,
Jamaica. Josh, you want to try it? Jamaica. Well, Josh did
Yeah, you
good.
got it.
See,
Jamaica.
okay, Jamaica. See, I got it right. Awesome. So, to the audience listening, Jamaica, and everyone, don't forget, come back next week, new episode. Thank you for the privilege of your company, and Jose, thank you for the privilege of your company and your time. Keep the love coming in. Subscribe, donate, buy our merch. Keep supporting and sharing. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening to White Label American. If you enjoyed the show, we'll appreciate if you rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcast from. If you have any questions, comments, or have someone who will be a good guest on the show, or you want to be on the show, send us a message at whitelabelamerican@gmail.com. And make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at White Label American. Thank you for your support.